The UK general election. For the Tories, will it be a Titanic heading for the iceberg? For Labour, a possible super victory. Whatever the outcome, British elections are full of drama, significance and often fun. The election certainly is one of the most important, since the last one at least. And certainly worth staying up all night for. So do join me, Jan Darash, for How We Got Here.
According to the latest polls, British PM Rishi Sunak is on course to become the first sitting Prime Minister to lose a parliamentary seat in a general election. Apart from Sunak, polls show that the July election in the UK is likely to end in a catastrophic result for the Conservative Party. If current trends continue, Labour could have as many as 516 MPs, which would give the party's leader, Sir Keir Starmer, a colossal majority of 382 seats, far exceeding even Tony Blair's majority during his landslides in 1997 and 2001. Projections show the Conservatives could drop to just 53 seats, from 365 won in the 2019 election, while the Liberal Democrats could rise from 11 to 50 seats to rival the Conservatives as Britain's leading opposition party. If Sunak loses his North Yorkshire seat, it will be the first time a sitting Prime Minister has not secured his parliamentary seat during an election. And while the UK general election is still weeks away, the battle for the soul of the Conservative Party has already begun. All the polls point to the Conservatives heading for a crushing defeat on July 4th. Such a result would inevitably lead to an immediate clash over where the party should go next. Some in the country fear the prospect of a Donald Trump-style takeover by a populist right figure, similar to Nigel Farage, leader of the rival Reform UK party and the Brexit movement. Reform UK hopes to replace Sunak's party as the leading Conservative voice in the country in the future, and the first step in that direction would be to secure a share of seats in the upcoming general election. Others speculated that an electoral collapse on such a scale could threaten the very existence of the nearly 200-year-old Conservative Party. This means that the coming battle to choose Sunak's successor will be one that will determine the future of the Conservatives for years to come.
I'm delighted to welcome our guest today, Bartłomiej Kot. He's the Programme Director at the Warsaw Security Forum. So welcome again to the programme.
Lovely to be here with you.
UK elections. Your perceptions about how the election is proceeding for the electorate and for the major parties. Is it a boring election or is it a entertaining one?
Well, it is definitely an entertaining one. If you have people such as Farage included in the electoral campaign, then it is obvious that this will be actually an entertaining campaign. There are a lot of different issues that are, of course, right now discussed during the campaign. A lot of them being very polarizing issues, such as migration, for example. But to tell you the truth, as compared to, for example, the Central and Eastern European politics, a lot of the issues that are discussed in the UK right now are very much connected to the state of economy, for example, or the state of NHS, so health service.
Yes.
So this is actually, it is a polarizing discussion right now in the UK, but it is also very much economy connected, and a lot of those issues are, of course, post-Brexit trauma, if I may put it like that, and the way the Conservatives were managing the country for 14 years. So I would say that the leitmotif right now through the whole campaign is all about the change. This is the slogan of the Labour Party, but this is also like the point of the point to which even the Conservatives are trying to respond to say how much they are actually good in terms of managing the country. But even Sunak, when he was asked whether he can say that that all the things that were the case of the government, of the Tory government, whether he feels that they will properly manage. Even he said that they need a change.
Well, this points out one of the old adages about British politics, is that parties lose elections and parties don't necessarily win them. It's when they run out of steam, when they run out of energy or actual ideas, projects. Is that true of the Tories, do you think?
I would say that a lot of emotions right now, a lot of dynamics that is even happening right now during this campaign among the Tories is mostly connected or linked to the fact that they are fighting with each other. So there is like a lack of a clear messaging from the Conservatives right now. When even the spin doctors, when they are asked what is the main message of the Tory party right now, they would say that maybe there are 3 or 4 different ones, and there is a lack of a proper, I would say, rally around one person effect. So even if Rishi Sunak participates in the debates, actually there was one that nearly opened the whole campaign. He did quite well, in my opinion, but this wasn't translated into the result of the party. This wasn't translated into the result in the polling, because a day after almost a day after, he went to the D-Day ceremony and fled. And it was like
fled a ceremony to go to an interview.
So honestly speaking, it's like the Ministry of Silly Walks, almost as in the Monty Python TV show.
Was it a mistake that he made in calling the election up for July the 4th, or would this have happened? Is there an air of inevitability about a possible Tory defeat? So the timing really doesn't matter. The government has run out of energy, and that's it.
I would say that the timing matters. For him, it was certainly the point of view that he wanted to include a lot of economy-related subjects into the campaign, trusting that the inflation rate that is going down, actually, this will help him in his political messaging. A lot of this actually from the Conservative side being connected to tax cuts, etc., etc. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that there is anything that they can do in order to prevent Labour from coming into power. The only issue here is actually how many of the votes, of the seats in the Parliament, the Conservatives can actually save. So it is not the campaign from their side to win elections. It would be rather the campaign how to prevent Labour from not only gaining the majority in the Parliament, which is almost certain right now, but preventing the landslide victory that may even result in a result that is the worst since 1606,
yes.
from 1906 for the Conservatives.
And the Labour Party just don't. Their policy should be just not to make any major gaffes, just to sit back and watch the Tories lose. Is that a good evaluation, an accurate evaluation? I would
say that it is a good evaluation. Of course, they
don't know what a woman is. I mean, that's one of the.
Well, they right now there was, of course, the kind of a meeting where they were presenting the manifesto, the Labour manifesto, which is quite extensive, also in terms of many pages, etc., etc. But a lot of the policies of the Labour government are would focus on this campaign slogan, which is the change. Of course, there are like unwilling. Starmer is sometimes unwilling to make clear predictions what his policies will be after the elections, because he says that he needs to know what is in the books. He's afraid of what is the state of the economy right now under the Tory government. So of course there is a lot of there is a lack of very solid pledges from the Labour side, but at the same time I would say that there is a mood for a change. Simple as that. Even if they do not even if they do not campaign in a positive sense, like in giving very solid statements, solid pledges to the electorate, there is simply a mood for the change, and Labour is the only option.
Yes,
for
it's something you can't go against. If the electorate wants a change, it's going to have a change. What does that say about the current British electorate, in not just in England but in Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland? How do you see the map shifting? There's a recent poll which gives Labour a 500 plus majority, Tories on 50. The SNP more or less collapsing in Scotland, and the Labour Party are making a resurgence in Wales. Again, how do you see the colour picture of the colour map of the UK?
So there is a bit of a comeback to the old divisions. For some time, the so-called Red Wall in the northern part of England and parts of Scotland, it turned blue because of the Brexit mood. Let me put it that way. Conservatives were were campaigning around the Brexit flag about also the change. Let's be honest. And that actually linked some of the blue-collar workers or formerly blue-collar workers to the Tory side. But right now it is changing once again. So I would say that those constituencies that were very much for years, for decades even, Labour-leaning, they're right now turning back red, so turning back to the Labour Party, actually with a trust that this can once again change the politics of the UK. There is a very clear economy-driven interest of these people. They feel that the economic burden on them is too high, that the migration is a problem, that the current government cannot manage those issues that are problematic for them, economy and migration. That will be like two major topics. And then you have, of course, Scotland, where the issue of independence was always like very clear division line between those voting Conservative, Labour or SNP. But I would say that even right now, after some scandals that also happened within the SNP, those the natural voters who would vote for pro-independence within Scotland, they would be actually casting their votes in favour of Labour, because they also feel that there is a shift here. There is a need for a better economy or for better economy policy. But at the same time, of course, there is a whole issue of the Reform Party. So you may call them like new emerging power. It is the old same tune of previously UKIP or the hard Brexiteer crowd, that are actually causing a pain to especially to the Conservative side, because there are actually the Conservatives are losing voters in favor of the Reform Party. So if you have a very divided electorate, and you have even a party that comes up to the ballots, and they're saying that they're actually not only that they're actually targeting the Conservative crowd, the Conservatives are losing votes to this party. So that's even helping actually.
Yes, it's the Farage factor is likely to be very potent. Is that going to be? Is his popularity, his evident skills as an orator, as a motivator, is that going to be a factor in being translated into votes for his view, for his party?
Certainly it will translate to votes, but I'm not sure whether that will translate to the seats in the parliament. That's all about how this system, the electoral system in the UK is structured. So it's not because we are looking at actually polls. The polls are given, even in some cases, some kind of for Reform Party, the support that is it is even better than for Conservatives. They're like second party in some of the polls, but in the end, it is all about what will be the result of each candidate in each of the constituencies.
Right. I mean, years ago when he got the UKIP party, he got about 6% of the vote and a couple of seats, so it didn't translate directly. But a final point: is there any major ideological difference between the two parties? They both support the NHS. They are both big state parties. They've both promised to get a grip on migration, which both have failed to do. And their Achilles heel is also management of the economy. Then, is there a degree of difference between the two, or is it just posh boys, in the leadership of two wings of the same party?
Well, first of all,
when it comes
to the economy, I mean, there is a difference in my opinion, because the Labour Party is certainly a big state party when it comes to the economy vision, the vision of economy in the UK. The Tories are right now campaigning around cutting taxes. So this is like more of a liberal. Let me put it the slogan. Let me put it that way. The issue of being posh or not being posh is actually also an issue in the politics. A lot of the questions that were like posed during the first debate were all around that. Like, so Keir Starmer trying to picture himself as a person who actually comes from the blue collar working family, whereas Rishi Sunak has a very posh background.
Yes.
So I guess this is actually also a divisive line. And then, of course, the issue of migration, of course, both parties want to tackle the problem, but Labour are still like very much trying to defend the idea of a coordination with the international community, being bound by also the international law, etc., etc. So in a way, the messaging is being done right now. Of course, there is a difference. Although even if Labour is speaking about, for example, the future foreign policy, they're right now using even the buzzword, which is progressive realism, which means that they pledge to be a progressive government driven by progressive policies, but at the same time they know that in order to be effective in conducting foreign policy, they would have to be realistic in terms of, for example, the cooperation with a possible second Trump administration.
A very final brief question to you. Has the spectre of Brexit receded? I mean, it was a great factor in the last election. Has that gone on? Is that now on the back burner, or is it still playing out its very emotive debate?
I would say that the Brexit issue has translated to the subject of migration and to the subject of the state of economy, the state of the state itself. So it's not about Brexit anymore, but it is actually about how the things that were promised to the people during the Brexit campaign were either not delivered, or UK being isolated, not supported by European Union, etc., etc., cannot actually deliver to the pledges that were given to the people during the Brexit campaign.
Thank you very much, Bartłomiej Kot, for coming on to our programme. Great to have you again.
Thank you very much.
So that's all the time we have for this time. Join us again for How We Got Here.